Do you want to know how to fly out of Class D Airspace with ATC communications? In this video, I'll give you not only a briefing on the step-by-step process, but also show you a real-world example in the airplane. So let's get after it. Welcome aviators, my name is Chris Palmer, a master CFI based in Alaska, coming to you from angleofattack.com HQ. In this video, we're going to be talking about flying out of Class D airspace with ATC. We've already done an episode on how to fly into Class D airspace, which you can find after you watch this video. Some of you may be nervous about communicating with ATC, and when talking about airports, it really doesn't get any more simple than a Class D airport. So we're keeping it pretty simple in this case. We're going to jump in the airplane in a few minutes and I'll show you the real world example we'll use live with ATC. So make sure to stick around for that. First, I'm going to very quickly go over the basic steps we'll follow when exiting Class D airspace with ATC. First, you're going to want to get the ATIS, which is information for the airport and the weather. Become familiar with the airport chart, call up ground and get taxi clearance, comply with the taxi clearance, and very importantly, remain situationally aware as you taxi to your destination. Switch to tower at the runway hold short or after run up, and depart via the instructions that they give you. Now let's jump in the airplane. We're going to do this real world example now. Again, this is the real world. None of this is really planned with the ATC, so they are just doing their thing. They don't know we're filming. So there are some cool little twists here that will add even more knowledge onto knowing the basics.
Okay, welcome to the cockpit, everybody. We are back for another video on Class D airspace communications and Class D airspace in general. So on this video, we're going to be departing. We've already done another video arriving in the Class D. This one we're going to be departing. So one of the first things that we'll want to do is get our weather. So I am going to tune that in now.
Airport information, Mike 2253.
Listen for that.
Wind 210 at 14, weather better 5005, temperature 82.4, altimeter 2958. Runway 20 right, 20 left, gravel in use. Expect a visual approach. Notice airmen, waterways closed until further notice. Advisement to contact you with Mike.
Need to get that wind one more time. So dial it in.
Information Mike 2253, visual observation. Wind 210 at 14, weather better 5005, temperature 82.4, altimeter 2958. Runway 20 right, 20 left, gravel in use. Expect a visual approach. Notice airmen, waterways closed until further notice.
So I dialed the frequency in. I got that frequency from ForeFlight. I used the scratch pad within ForeFlight to write down the information. And now I have ground in the frequency here, and then I can contact them and get my taxi clearance. Now before we do that, we're going to want the taxi chart up on the iPad, so I'm actually going to draw out my clearance as they give it to me. Okay, I'm going to write it down on the an empty space on the chart, and then I will draw it on the chart. You guys will see how that works. So we're going to want to tell them we have information as well. Information Mike. Kenai ground, Skyhawk 2423 uniform. Information Mike, we're at transient. We'll be southbound departure to Homer.
Skyhawk 2423 uniform, Kenai ground, taxi, correction, runway 20 right at Delta. Taxi via Juliet Lima, Alpha Delta.
Taxi to 20 right via Juliet Lima Alpha Delta 2423 uniform. You can see how useful that is to write everything down, because now I can just repeat it back, and now I can write it on. Now I can write it on the chart. So Juliet Lima Alpha Delta. All right, you guys see that? How I just drew it. So now I can keep track of my taxi clearance. Now I'm cleared to go. So now I will diligently keep my eyes out as I taxi down there. Make sure I'm on the correct taxiways and all that sort of thing. It's best to be eyes outside for that. So now I have my tower frequency in standby of 121.3, and we can see the identifier there. And so now I can swap over to tower. Kenai Tower, 2423 uniform, holding short 20 right at Delta.
That's a 2423 uniform, Kenai Tower, hold short, runway 20 right at Delta.
Hold short 20 right at Delta, 2423 uniform. So those runway numbers are extremely important to read back. You must read back your hold short instructions, any runway number instruction, whether it's landing, takeoff, etc. So very, very important you read those back. So when I get my takeoff clearance, I'll also need to say my runway number every time.
Are you enjoying this video and want to learn more? We have an entire library of structured videos on angleofattack.com. We call this Online Ground School, and it's how you'll ace the written test required by the FAA. It's go at your own pace and all accessible right now on any device. Go check it out yourself or recommend it to your friends. Now, back to the video.
As of right now, I'll assume.
That's a
There we go.
2423 uniform, Kenai Tower. Runway 20 right at Delta, clear for takeoff.
2423 uniform, clear takeoff, 20 right at Delta. There we go. Now I can cross that threshold. So you can see the airspace. I'll show you guys here. See the airspace kind of circling here. Okay, that's the airspace. And it's only a few miles. He didn't tell us anything about our turn.
That's a 2-3 uniform, what was the direction again?
2-3 uniform will be following the coastline south of Homer.
That's a 2-3 uniform, roger, on course.
On course, 2-3 uniform, thank you. So there you go. Now he told us we can go on course. And so that's what we're doing. So really simple. You guys saw that airspace there. So kind of our, I guess you could call it disembarkation line. The kind of the point where we're going to be exiting airspace is right here. So you can see the line of the airspace right there.
The 21403, the 12 is west, southwest.
He may or may not tell us frequency change. It seems like he's been telling other people that. So that's probably the last thing we'll hear.
Follow the traffic.
Otherwise, that's it. You're just departing the airspace. Once you're out, you're out.
400, runway 20 right.
So we have a few miles until we get there. And then we should be good.
November 403, what type landing do you want?
Just looking for a stop and go.
That's the 403, roger.
So we'll wait just a few minutes for until we get out of the airspace. Once we get out of the airspace, then we'll be done with the video, and that is departing. Biggest thing with departing Class D in this video, read back those runway numbers for taxi, for takeoff, for holding short, all of those things. And also, the bulk of the work is just getting going and getting started and exiting the airspace. Now that we're in the air, we're going to be out of the airspace here in just a few minutes, and then we're on our own to decide what we want to do from there. In my case, I'm going to do flight following, and you guys can go and see my video on flight following as well. But I think it's great to have ATC along with you for the ride. So let's go back to the studio and do a further debrief on Class D airspace and sign you guys off.
Thanks for joining us on this lesson. Make sure to like this video if you learned something new and subscribe to get more in the future. And turn on all notifications so you don't miss any more great content from Angle of Attack. I'm Chris Palmer signing off. Fly safe, and until next time, throttle on.